The Starship World of Warcraft community is proudly supported by Blizzard Entertainment, Raider.io, Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
Face with your blood! Say hello to my big friend!
Power level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Who took the bomb?
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me from below. The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Starship Race to World Worst speedrunning event. Today is just the practice runs for the event on Sunday itself. And before we start, I can see Dead on Arrival waiting to start their pull on Gundrak, which I guess they're going to start any second now. But before that, we are honoured to be a featured community on Raider.io this week, where we are taking over the front page all the way through until Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday will be featuring a guest streamer from our community, the wonderful Bears Adventures. Sunday is obviously our main event in terms of the speed run. Saturday is with the amazing Talvi going on a bit of a lore tour of the dungeons in question. And yesterday and the day before, if you caught that, we had some community runs of different dungeons as well. We'd like to thank a few people first. We are raising money for our charity partner, Safe in Our World. We have multiple giveaways active in our Discord server with some cool prizes available, such as an epic edition of The War Within, Gamer Advantage $100 gift card if you'd like to join and have a look. That's discord.gg/Starship EU. Starship Community is partnered with Blizzard, Raider.io, Zygor Guides, Glitch Energy, Gamer Advantage Streamlabs, and the aforementioned Safe in Our World. But joining me today, we have Zippy, who was actually the raid leader for the last couple of runs the previous days. Hi, Zippy. How did those go?
Hey, no, they went really well. And hello, everyone. The first stream was actually Adam, who you'll be talking to later. Looks like Dead on Arrival are starting here. But no, they went really well. I think we showcased what our community is all about when we're not doing weird events, when we're just in our downtime. And now we'll see what we're up to when we do weird events.
How were your runs a bit earlier? I know you've practiced a bit of this as we see some flashing screens to indicate the low health, but it looks like they've managed that boss pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, we ran specifically this dungeon just now, and there's a lot of skips in Goldrack, so you can skip a lot of mobs. It'll be interesting to see how much teams choose to skip. I had a look online. They're not like readily available information that's easy to Google nowadays. You gotta explore the dungeon a little bit. Looks like they're going straight for the golem here, using the bone path though.
This is an interesting path. I know that Dead on Arrival were telling me they're not going to use their proper official TM Sunday strats to keep something for us to surprise us with, but this way I think is definitely not the way to go. So we'll see if this is part of their run on Sunday or not, or if they're really trying to slow.
Yeah,
the
maybe
time
they're
down
just
on purpose.
faking us up. I think they might just be faking us out here. But what we certainly usually do, I'm not afraid to share it. We usually go into the water and then we climb up the skeleton bone pile, and that'll take you straight to this boss, skipping a bunch of this trash here.
The one interesting thing I think that Dead on Arrival can't hide is their class composition, which is...
I was just going to say, there's no tank in this group.
There's no tank. No, it's a Holy Priest, a Demonology Warlock, and a BM Hunter. I guess they're going for the zoo strategy.
Yeah,
but it
evidently so.
seems to be doing okay so far. But the interesting thing is, obviously, Kiza on Holy Priest was topping damage and healing there for a bit. That was a slight interesting turn of events for a double DPS team.
Well, Holy Nova does do that at level 30. There's some wonky scaling with healers, and especially there's a talent for Holy Nova where if you don't use it for 20 seconds, it just keeps stacking up in power. You suddenly press it, everyone's full health, and all the mobs are dead. It feels great to play, and we're definitely going to make use of that as well.
I don't actually know what your comp is. What are you running?
We are running Bear, and then we're running a Shadow Priest, because anyone can run that talent, and then we're running an Unholy DK.
Okay, I thought you were going to say Shadow Priest because anyone can play that and just start flaming your players then, but...
I mean...
Am I really wrong though, right? The one interesting thing is about this event, as for those of you who are curious and might have some questions, we're running through Gundrak, Ankahet, the Nexus, and what was the other one, Zippy? Remind me.
Utgard Keep.
Utgard Keep is my event. I completely forgot what ones I said. Those are the four. It's only the main bosses, no optional bosses. For example, Ek, the Fearless or Ferocious, that is just behind these guys here. You don't have to clear. You don't have to clear all the trash either. And this is a super fast time on that boss. My goodness.
Yeah, this boss is going down some swift.
I don't think there's no point even trying to do mechanics on that. So
no, there really isn't. So the first time I did this, I did it alone as the bear in our comp, and discovered on that boss, even if you just keep him in mammoth state, he doesn't deal enough damage to be dangerous to really anyone. So you can interrupt it, but it's pretty optional, even though that's his main mechanic.
Are you ignoring all the mechanics? I remember you saying there are some things that might be better if you weren't to ignore them.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you if you don't take a bunch of damage, that's always great, but we personally have enough healing to deal with it. These rhinos here that they're coming up with, I think they're making a wise choice and not pulling a lot of them. They do AoE silence, and so especially with a Demo Warlock and a Holy Priest, if they pull all of the rhinos here, they will be unable to do anything at all. It'll be all on the BM Hunter, which is very rough.
But I wonder if there is actually going to be a group who have at least some people who can switch to all melee just for this. If you have I know, if a bear is able to keep themselves up, or if that's going to be impossible. Have you tried?
The bear can definitely keep itself up. We succeeded every time we tried to pull all of them. It just kind of sucked that our Unholy DK couldn't use half his kit, and our Shadow Priest couldn't use any of his kit.
Okay, so I think we're going to have a bit of a talk to these guys now that they've finished their run. In 5 minutes, 2 seconds of the time to beat as the first streamed run of this. I know that off stream, the runs have been around the 3.5 minute mark, so it will be interesting to see what other people come up with as we go through, and if they're indeed all in Gundrak. I believe, hopefully, Bebson from this team is going to be in Discord to drag down in a second. If you can have a look for us.
Yes, of course.
Zippy.
Well, she's certainly in the Discord. I don't know whether she's ready to be dragged. Should we just gamble it?
Yes, let's gamble it. Let's gamble it. Let's no risk,
At
no
worst,
fun.
it's mildly rude. Hello, Bebson.
Hello.
Nice little run of Gundrak there.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
We were saying, I wonder which part of your strategy you're not showing, as I don't think it's a secret that people jump into the water.
No, it's not. It's not.
Oh, okay, so you were really trying to be tricksy with us.
Well, I suppose we can do a little show for shows.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
we won't switch off of you then just yet, and you can commentate your own run with us then if you want.
How are you guys finding running no tank? It seems you're trying to overwhelm it with pets. Has that generally been working out for you guys?
It's actually going quite well with 2 pet tanks, to be fair. It's always one takes over for the other, which means we take next to no damage, which means Kisa can DPS.
Yeah,
that's actually
we
quite a
saw
good
we
thing.
saw some big numbers from Keys there.
Yeah.
I'm still avoiding
like
saying those names. Zippy, if you want to pronounce those team names, you're more than welcome to.
No, I'm all right. Thankfully, I know everyone in this team outside of the event, so no need
Yes.
to work through the character
Especially for you guys. Especially for you guys.
names.
Okay, well, take it
Right,
away and let's see what you have.
Yeah, so we're pulling the ads on the boss here to kill it as fast as possible. We will be jumping down here. We all have swim speed, because Warlock.
Of course, I hadn't considered that about the Warlock, that the swim speed might be very, very nice in this dungeon.
Yes. So we're taking a little bit of a detour here onto the Bone Mountain.
You have super fast boss times, actually.
Yes, we do. We do make a lot of DPS, thankfully.
Oh, you go this way?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I thought you were going right. Didn't think you were going left.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
This is. I'm not sure what's going on here. What's going on, Bebson?
This is the same
This
route
is,
that we do.
yeah, this is actually quite a good road to take because it seems to be faster. So that's why we chose it. Also, we saw someone else do it. Like we saw some videos, looked it up and all that jazz. And that seemed to be the fastest way to go.
It's the same route that we do because you can go straight from this boss and then go down into the water and go straight to the next boss and then
Yeah,
you're done.
pretty much.
Okay, well, you're going to see something on the next team who we've queued up, which is Goblin with our community leader who has some interesting strat that you might want to keep an eye out for because they're doing something slightly different, which you might be able to implement, which is a bit crazy actually. But I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of having a restoration shaman. But let's.
Yeah. This is true. Also, I'm sure they are running with a tank, so they can pull a bit bigger.
This is true.
Yeah,
I'm definitely interested to see that because I mean we don't usually run this way. Our team usually goes through the grate to get up here instead, skipping a couple of these mobs. But otherwise, it's been the same route. I'll be interested to see what they pull off. If you say it involves pulling more mobs.
Yeah, well, we've got that to show next. So stick around and find out, I guess.
I'm quite sure that's what they'll be doing. They'll be pulling the entire dungeon to the boss, more or
Yeah.
less, I guess.
We were just saying you have super fast boss kill times, though. I mean, obviously the movement between the bosses might be slightly more awkward, but once you actually get there, then they just melt.
Indeed, they do.
Is there anything now that you've... oh, someone forgot to click something. Is there anything now that you've got to the end of the planning of the event, and the event obviously being on Sunday, that you regret having done, or do you think this has gone as well as it possibly could have?
I think it's going as well as it possibly could have. Maybe I should have checked my gear a little better, because obviously I'm still running with a strength ring. So, but nonetheless, it's just one, so that's all right.
Just any consolation, I'm running an int cape at the moment.
Oh, lovely! I'm so happy you're saying that. I'm not the only idiot here.
Well, you only had 3 months notice, so
Yeah. Well, I thought it was going to be working. To be fair, so
This is true. 3.5 minutes is not bad. I think there's definitely room to push this. It looks like you're not really getting any of the silences. I have to say, I'm quite surprised, because every time I see other teams, they keep getting silenced by these rhinos. But I don't think I've seen you get it
it's
once.
about the distance.
Uh-huh.
It's about the distance. If you keep a certain distance from the rhinos, let the pet do their stuff, you will not get it. So that's a full minute taken off, more or less.
Yeah, very nice.
Just going that way.
Okay. Well, but
I suppose
Obviously,
it
we're not
helps that
quite
pets have
concentrated. But,
pets have more or less infinite range by virtue of them just running around the place.
indeed,
It's
and
very
I've
helpful.
obviously chosen my fell guard not instead of the blue guy, because he does actually take AoE aggro. He's a little bit more squishy, but yeah.
I mean,
Nothing Holy Nova can't handle.
Nothing I can't handle, yeah.
Before we love you and leave you, so you are dead on arrival, your team. Is there anything that you can say, reasons why people should support you on the event on Sunday?
Because we are the funniest group, we are the most interesting group, and we are the best.
Good answer.
We are the best. I may as well end it now, right? Congratulations to our winners, dead on arrival. No,
Dead on arrival.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us. We're going to switch over to Goblin and have a look at what they're doing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. As you can see in the middle of the screen for Goblin, we have an actual add-on made for this event, which seems to be working, which is a surprise since I'm the one who commissioned it. But the guy who made it obviously wasn't me, so that shouldn't be a surprise. But if you want it and you want to join in with these kind of events, well, then join our Discord, and you'll have all of the fun and all of the things to help out you on your level 30 adventure. Right, so here we go with Goblin. Hopefully they're not going to hold back and they're going to do a run that's proper. So this is a DH, a Guardian Druid, and a Restoration Shaman who has ridiculous amounts of damage for reasons unknown.
For reasons caused by healer scaling in low levels. It's quite ridiculous.
I wonder why there's not a team who just run 3 healers.
Well, we thought about it, to be honest, but it just seems more comfortable, at least for us, to run tanks and a DPS. Plus, we wanted, personally, we wanted as much uncapped AoE as we could. Of course, the Demon Hunter can do some interesting things here. It seems like they are largely going the same way, except they're going great first.
The one thing about their strategy is they split. So if you notice, it's just the DH and the Druid here.
Of course.
The Resto Shaman has gone to solo the Elemental Boy while they work their way up to the other boss, which is saving them currently a hell of a bunch of time. This is 1 minute to here, and let's see what they can pull off in this room. It looks like they're pulling the whole thing.
That's interesting. I mean, splitting up the team definitely succeeded last season with, what was it, Hellfire Ramparts?
Yeah, that was dead on arrival.
The splitting strategy came out at the very end and clutched it, so it makes sense to see it again.
There was a huge amount of time off. That was pretty much what I thought they were going to win the event after that. I was like, oh my goodness, where did this come from? But unfortunately, they weren't able to hold on for the win. This team actually won out. Ooh, that's a big amount of damage. He goes down.
Oh
Oh,
no.
our first death live on stream is our community leader.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Well, the first death was Gluggy,
Oh,
which
was
is
it? Okay.
fortunate.
Whereas our
Our
community
leader is
leader's
the
team.
demon hunter here.
Yes. Yeah. And at least this time we don't have to say anything about his offhand warglaive, so that's always
That's true. Now they're fancy lightsabers instead.
yeah, too much Star Wars for this guy. That's what I can say. Well, it was going well. I mean, they currently have the best time on Gundrak. They have a 3:30, I believe. So I think they were just trying to show off a bit.
That makes
on that one.
sense. To be honest, makes a lot of sense to split up the group. I wonder if we could do something similar. I do wonder what ended up killing Gluggy there. I don't recall anything dealing massive amounts of damage on that pull, so I'm surprised to see the bear go down.
Possibly just I think the transformation does well when he first switches. It's probably a bit of a spike of damage, and if you get unlucky
That
with
is true.
the amount of ads involved, then possibly it's easy to go down.
Comments damage killed me. That is usually the way.
my health equals 0.
Yeah, of course. Didn't think about that. I'm sorry, Gluggy.
Yeah. Have you thought about keeping your health above 0, Gluggy?
See, now there's the tech.
this is why I made the event. I'm employed for the big brain strats.
Of course.
We've got another 40 minutes until we have the halftime break, so we're going to go and have a look at these guys and then a few others who are currently running a few different instances, drag them in, talk to them, and then after the halftime break we are actually going to go and see Zippy's beautiful team. Do you know what you're running yet, Zippy? Are you running Gundrak, or are you going to run something else?
That's a good question. I mean, we've already run Gundrak. I think we have a pretty good idea of what we want to do, and we're also going to do some practice tomorrow. So we might do Utgard again. We did run through Utgard just now, but it would also be pretty beneficial to see some of the other dungeons. Honestly, the main bottleneck there is that Northrend is freaking huge, and level 30 flying is not fast.
You're going to have to create some sort of summoning bot army. That's what you're going to have to
do. Don't tempt me, Frodo.
Well, at least on for the event on Sunday, you get 15 minutes or so between each one of the, 5 minutes or 10 minutes at least between each one of the rounds. So you're not going to be running around too much. But it looks like we might be ready for the next run.
Attempt number 2.
Yeah, I've got it with the auto hammer going down. He's got all of the toys and gimmicks.
That's our community leader. He's always prepared. It's one of the reasons I love having him around.
But is he always repaired, or is he one of these guys who's like, oh god, my braces broke halfway through the fight? Is he one of those?
Oh no, he's always well repaired. Sometimes too much, I think. We have repair bots really frequently in raids, and I sometimes think, it's above 50%. It's not going to break during the fight. You're fine. But if you have the repair bots, you may as well use the repair bots, I guess.
Yeah. There should be 100% bonus, shouldn't there? If you have a perfectly repaired armor, plus 2% damage or something.
See, I think some people do actually think it works that way. I heard some people mention that, and I thought it was very odd because I'd never read anything like that. But I can't find any sources that say so, so I hope that's not the case.
You've been doing it wrong for the last 15 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's see if they get through this tunnel unscathed. I don't imagine there's anything that's going to be stopping them here other than other than the fact that they can't find the tunnel. Oh, there you go.
I do have a lot of empathy for Adam there, struggling to get onto the bone pile. It looks like you should be able to make that incline, but you just barely can't unless you go on the right side of it.
Yeah, there are these small things. None of this is necessarily difficult, right? It's not difficult content. Obviously, it's fun community content. But if you're doing it in a way to win, let's say, a competition, then there are basically the challenges in finding perhaps the more interesting routes or the more forgotten about mechanics, or a bit of gear that just scales in a way that is not acceptable, simply enough.
For sure. I mean, when you're speedrunning like this, it's also about shaving all the little fractions that you can. Because we all run at roughly the same run speed, unless you have speed items, which are generally not available in Wrath of the Lich King anyway. So, you got to find your speed where you can. Of course, being a demon hunter helps, but knowing the right routes and jumping at the right times can save that little bit of time that you need to catch up. And you're only as fast as your slowest member, unless you're splitting up, in which case it's a little different.
You can just leave your shaman behind, it's fine.
Exactly.
They're not needed. As we're going to see here, though, I would imagine we're going to see huge numbers as the shaman does pump quite a lot. But can you see the DPS? I always have a problem.
It's in the bottom right, and it doesn't have a background, which is why it's tough to see sometimes.
Okay, I see. All I can
Adam's
see is
UI is a curse for casters. The very first time I ran a tournament with this community was a Dungeon Dojo event, and they definitely thought that we were on the edge of death at all times because of his inverted colors here.
Yeah, I've never known anyone else run inverted, but no, our beloved community leader does. Let's see what their final time is. It probably looks like
A little over 3 minutes here.
Yeah, probably going to go into the 320s, which is a pretty good run. I'm not actually sure what their best time is, but I think the best time was maybe 3:24, so pretty much spot on.
Well, this wins it then.
Yeah, fantastic.
We'll have to shave some time ourselves.
Yeah, it's all about
the arms race is on.
Yeah. But we're not going to interview these guys, not because we don't like them, but because Adam's going to be co-hosting the second half of this with me, which will be around 9:10 realm time, if you want to stay for him. If not, then I don't blame you. But let's move on to a different team. We're going to move over to the good, the bad, and the ugly. Who I believe are just waiting for their run at Gundrak as well. It seems like Gundrak is by far the most popular one that there is.
Well, it's fast to run, and it's the first one in the list of what we're running on Sunday. But also, crucially, it's the closest to Dalaran.
Okay. So basically, for the event, you're telling me we start with Gundrak and it's all downhill from there because no one knows what's going on.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay, fantastic.
depending on the teams, of course.
Okay. So let's see what these guys end up doing.
They seem to be running also Shadow Priest and Guardian Druid, but they've gone for the Demon Hunter, which is understandable because they're fast as hell and they can skip a bunch of nonsense.
Okay. Oh, we have a follower. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Shadow.
I
do understand. No, go on.
I was going to say, the thing with Demon Hunter, though, is they might be fast, but the damage profile maybe isn't the best for this type of event. It seems like it does seem like a bit of a caster meta, especially with some of the possible gearing options. It's not like in TBC. Just so you guys know who are watching, it's in the Wrath events, it's only gear from Wrath. In TBC, only gear from TBC. So this is the third version of this event. TBC, obviously, you had Warglaves, you had Dragonspine Trophy, and I think there was a trinket from Sunwell, which was also really good for melee. But in this iteration of the event, not really.
There's not a lot of good melee stuff, and a lot of the procs don't scale very well. So you're often better off just getting raw stats, which doesn't really help out with Demon Hunter as much.
Yeah, but I think the difference is honestly night and day. Like between the gear you can get, even things like Nibelung, which is like a bit of a meme stuff generally, but having the ability to proc a pet is still like at this level. The pet's damage isn't nothing. Right? It can still, as if you manage to proc it on a boss, for example, where it can get consistent uptime, will save seconds. And considering that the last event in TBC, over the course of 4 dungeons, the time difference was like 15 seconds for all 4 between winning and coming second. Something like that really is going to have a
It
chance
helps a
of
lot.
really going to have a chance of making a difference.
I mean, the run we just saw was 200 seconds long, right? If you shave 2 seconds, that's a whole percentage right there.
Yeah, you're loving this talk about shaving, Zippy. Is there something you want to tell me?
It's just speedrunning terminology, that's all. I haven't shaved in months.
Anyway, let's keep watching the good, the bad, and the ugly here. And they're not actually putting it all on top of the boss.
They're not. That probably has something to do with the fact that they're running Guardian Druid. These snakes have to die really quickly if you're running Guardian Druid. They don't have a way to really deal with magic damage from all the stacking poisons that these snakes put up. So if you're a bit too slow, it can get pretty rough pretty quickly. But I definitely see why everyone is going Guardian Druid. They, after Season 2's rework, they have front-loaded all of the self-healing that Guardian Druid has in endgame, more or less, to the first top of the tree. So Guardian can heal almost as much as it can at endgame, apart from like some self-shield. And so it's incredibly beefy.
Wow, okay. Well, now I know why everyone's going Guardian Druid. I was wondering why there's not more warriors or something that would have perhaps a bit more damage output, but I guess you're just completely correct that if you can just stay alive forever, then
you can stay alive forever. You have AoE Thrash as well, which is good dot spread, so generally considered uncapped damage, which is also helpful when you have big AoE pulls. And the fact that they can even heal other people. It's one of the big reasons we're running without a healer. If Simon is low on health, then most of the time I can regrowth him for a value that's close to my own health bar, which for a priest is way overkill.
What do you actually think about the Shadow Priest? Because I wouldn't have said it's, well, maybe during the time of running the first and second event, I wouldn't say it's anywhere near one of the top casters that you want to run, but it seems to be pretty popular for this iteration. I assume there's a reason for it, and I'm hoping to be enlightened.
Well, for us, it was a big factor of if you can spread enough dots, then you can pull as much as you want and still deal the same amount of damage. Plus, they have the Rhapsody talent for the Holy Novas that get empowered, so they end up dealing a crap load of damage every like 20 seconds and healing everyone for a bunch. So it's just a factor of they have some of the best parts of Holy Priest in terms of damage output, and then they also have a bunch of like dot spreading nonsense that they can do to all the enemies. So that's why we ended up picking it.
Yeah,
I don't know if there are better casters. Our theory crafting was more or less, we're going to try to pull as much as possible, so we need things that can hit as many targets as possible. That was really the whole thought when we went into this.
And we could just see, before they entered this room, one of the angelic feathers going down. Maybe that's the solution to your speed problems.
Oh, it definitely has been. We also run with movement speed on Power Word Shield, so our DK gets Power Word Shields whenever he can.
Oh my goodness, DK must be incredibly slow.
They are incredibly slow. I am also running Stampeding Roar for the same reason. We're more or less just trying to make sure he can keep up, but spreading all that epidemic and popping it does tend to deal a bunch of damage when we actually have a lot of mobs on us.
Were you one of the teams that managed to get Shadowmourne? Because I don't think any team has managed to get it so far.
No, we started very late. But looking at the proc on Shadowmourne, I'm also not sure it would be all that significant. It has good stats, of course, and it has a proc, so it would almost definitely be BIS. But I think we're okay.
Okay. I guess it also depends on things like the oh my god, what's the name of the axe from the guy who does Bone Storm that has a procking self-heal?
It's a great question. I have no idea. I haven't looked at our DK gear very much.
Maybe Bryn Troll? But I'd be guessing. But let's have a look. They don't actually have a timer on the screen, so
no timer and no DPS meter, so we actually can't quite see what's happening here. But they seem to be doing all right. They need a few heals from the Shadow Priest occasionally, but good damage output coming out.
We're gonna
And
have to.
pulling all of those rhinos together and not dying is a good step for sure.
Well, I mean, that seems to be the biggest time save if in one single part. If because the rest of the instances, all right, if you can split, maybe not split, there are benefits, there are pluses and minuses. But those rhinos at the end just seem to be the actual, in this dungeon anyway, the mechanic slash gameplay check, which is, are you able to get those down quickly or all together in one pull? If you can, as Bebson was saying, that they were finding that if you were a certain range away, then you weren't getting silenced. If you can do something like that, then I mean, you can
Yeah,
pull the whole
you
thing.
need to keep your caster away, of course. It's just very difficult to do because as soon as the rhinos engage you, they also knock you back. So while the tank is engaging the rhinos, he's getting knocked back into the caster, and so you need to create your distance manually, or you need to find some other way to solve that problem by maybe staying at a different angle to the rhino so it doesn't run you back into your priest. There's a lot of little optimizations you can do with those rhinos, I think, and that's going to save some teams a lot of time on the event, I'm sure.
Maybe you can show us all how it's done in the second half. I believe that one of the guys from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly are going to be coming on to Discord. I believe they're currently drawing straws as to who loses and has to come over, but but we'll have one of them to interview in a sec. We have a lovely Scottish voice, English voice, which I can't describe as lovely because it would sound like I'm tooting my own trumpet. And
I'll call it lovely.
oh, thank you very much. And a delightful duchy. But let's see who comes over. We have Yorick. We have Yorick waiting to be dragged into our channel.
Pull him in now. Hey, Yorick.
Hey guys.
How's it going? What that run was? What did you say? It was 5 minutes.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my screen doesn't light up on Discord, but it was 5 minutes. I pressed start too late, but I thought, what the hell, it's practice run. So my timer actually showed 5 minutes 11 or something, but Blakeling recorded it from the start, so his time was more accurate.
I like how they started without you there as well. That was.
You gotta go fast in an event like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's the whole point, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
And that's good. And that's good.
no stopping this train. We were kind of theorizing why you're not pulling all those ads onto the boss. Was there a reason why you weren't just pulling all those on the boss and AOing the boss down with it?
Which boss? The last boss?
No, this one
This
here.
boss.
All the snakes. You killed the snakes and now you're on the boss rather than just taking them all over.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay,
To be
fair
honest, yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, never
For
mind.
me, it's better, but yeah, we haven't practiced as much as we did in last year's season with TBC. Mainly because of our tank had study obligations, so we had we had a late start, but we've been grinding the gear for quite some time now. So
What
So I
piece?
take it your tank must be Plague then, is that right?
yes, correct.
Alright, that makes sense.
What pieces do you have of gear that are particularly useful, or have you not found any of the pieces that you necessarily want?
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, my I made it to till eye level 110, and it's actually funny because some stats scaled differently on certain items with lower eye level, and they were better stats. So I got some, like for instance, this one. Oh, I can't show that. Maybe I can. So you see now I have the shoulders right here. The shoulders have 15 haste, 10 versatility. Yeah, it's not that much, but yeah, I had a higher eye level one, but it had weaker stats. So going with the 107 instead of a 115 was a good choice.
You seem to have stacked a lot of versatility. Is that strategic or is that just kind of the loot you got?
No, I have not really stacked versatility. I mainly stacked haste and intellect.
There's
Um,
definitely a lot of haste as well, that's for sure.
yeah, so I made it up to 32%, and that plays pretty much like my main, which is also a priest. Funny, huh?
Strange.
But so we got the critical strike is a little bit on the low side. I wanted to be higher, but yeah, I'm fine with the damage because I'm out DPSing the demon hunter while I'm not even watching the screen. So
Yeah, I was going to ask as well, how are you finding the Demon Hunter? Because we were talking about they're very, very fast, but they're not necessarily the most
yeah,
powerful damage dealer in Wrath of the Lich King. But what has your experience been with them? Because we don't play them personally.
I got a demon hunter alt. Also level 26. I thought I'd get it to 30, but yeah, the damage is not bad. But it's I think on lower level, it's harder to compete for higher DPS. I think. Um,
That
I
sounds
think
like a very
also.
polite version of saying it's rubbish.
Mm,
Well, I mean, it still has
no, because
those
the
mobility
mobility is
advantage.
quite good, but and it's quite fast as well. So you have some perks, and yeah, in the end, it. I mean, honestly, also used to play Demon Hunter in previous season. I think he's still playing Demon Hunter,
Yeah.
right? So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's a question to better ask him because he has more experience on level 30. I must
Oh, they
say.
both fell through the bridge. They went too early.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, thankfully it's only a practice run.
That's what
yeah, this
practice
is.
runs are for, right? Falling through the floor.
How are you finding Shadow Priest personally? Are you finding a fun class to well, probably not when you're silenced, right? But is it a fun class to play at this sort of level, or are you finding it limited?
No, it's actually quite fun to. I wasn't sure if I could utilize my normal play as with a Shadow Priest as on my main, but it is yeah, it's just limited. You have less spells available, but the speed is actually not that bad. Especially that's also why I took a Worgen to level up because yeah, Worgens have their dark flight ratio, which increases your speed by 40%, and that for 10 seconds. So it's gonna come quite handy. I'm combining it with the shield, as you can see right now. Um, the shield gives me a 2-second speed boost, and then the feathers give me speed boost. So I'll try to combine that into by keeping up a hunter or a demon hunter and a druid, and it seems to work out fine.
Have you all thought about racials like that? Because I mean, we didn't give racials much consideration, but it sounds like you actually thought it through quite significantly.
Well, I used to play some arenas with Adam back in season 2, and I was playing a Worgen just because I thought they were cool. And I found all these racial things that were like, okay, these are quite handy. And then at some point, we just want to, yeah, I just took that with me at the back of my mind. And for season 3, it just popped up like, okay, I'm gonna be a priest. Priests are in general mobilization; they are slow. So I figured, let's take a Worgen priest to maximize speed.
Oh, big brain strats. And
Makes sense. Yeah.
before we love you and leave you, give us a bit of a short reason why people should be cheering you on Sunday.
Well, we're gonna make a shit ton of mistakes, that's for sure. So if you want to have a good laugh, just stick with us, right?
The fun vote.
The fun vote, absolutely. We've got the best and the one who makes the most mistakes as the two back-to-back interviews now. All right, thank you very much, Yorick. Good luck with the rest of your runs.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thanks for the invite.
No worries. Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, let's switch over to Sicarios now, as they are at a different dungeon.
Ooh, we get to see something new. This is also the team I know least about. All the players in here Generally people that I haven't interacted with as much as the ones that we've talked to so far. So I'm really interested to see what fresh blood, so to speak, can think up there.
Well, we don't actually have a Guardian Druid, which is
We
quite
don't.
nice.
We have a prop paladin, which was my pick for season 1. So I'm really interested to see if they can pull off
Oh,
something
come on,
good here.
your team in season 1 was a meme, don't even.
What? I mean, even if we weren't doing a meme in season 1, I still would have picked prop paladin because it deals good damage. It has really good mitigation cooldowns, especially. So if you're expecting a lot of spiky damage, then suddenly they become really powerful. And they also have a bit of uncapped AoE, and all of their buttons deal really good AoE damage, actually. I think they deal probably more damage than Bear does, but then they can't heal themselves for their entire health bar all the time.
Yeah, I guess that depends. You're having to rely on teammates. In terms of teammates, you have one prop paladin, you have a balanced druid, and I believe a shadow priest. So
Oh, another Shadow Priest.
yeah, shadow priests are popular. Every season has one that ends up being the most popular. I can't remember what it was. What was it last season? I think it was probably turned out to be. I actually don't know what it was last season. Maybe
I
there
don't
wasn't.
really remember the teams last season because I didn't participate.
Yeah. I know that I think it might have been Resto Shaman last season because of.
We definitely saw a few for sure. I
Yeah.
remember that much.
But this will be the last thing we look at before going into the break, and then the first thing we look at after the break will be Zippy's lovely team. As we're waiting for everyone to arrive at the instance, we have
Can't
one.
wait to mess up in front of y'all. Be great.
We won't flame you. We like you too much now to flame you. But you are probably the least experienced team in terms of in terms of this event and this season, right? Not in terms of anything else. So.
Yeah, so we established our team pretty late, to be honest, mainly because we struggled to find a third player for a little while. Then we finally found out that Dave was interested, and so we got him along. But we haven't done a lot of practice yet, but the practice so far has felt very, very good.
Ooh,
So I
okay.
hope
Sounds promising.
it'll go well.
Sounds very promising. Okay. I'm really interested to see this team. This is a completely new team. None of these guys, I don't think, were in the previous seasons. So we'll have a look and see what they're like and go from there. It looks like they're slowly gathering in the right sort of place. This is obviously half of the challenge of this instance is finding where the entrance is.
It's honestly true. I tried to test this dungeon a little bit, and every time I died, I was like, "How do I get back here? There's no way."
Or you run into Azul and Yarub next to it instead, and you're like, "Oh god, damn it!"
Indeed, I am interested to see more testing of this dungeon. We haven't done any yet, except I ran into it alone when I was trying to evaluate which tank would be the best one. This was my dungeon of choice, and there are some mobs in here with some rough spells. There's at least one in here that deals percentage damage, which every tank really hates to hear. So that's got to get interrupted or dead real fast. We'll see how they handle it.
That's if I believe that would be Shadow Blast from one of the first.
That sounds correct.
One of the super long cast time runs, right?
I didn't see it at the time because I was just trying to limit test how much I could pull. And then suddenly I was dead on the ground and realized that I'd taken well over 1,000 damage from something.
Yeah, so this is an instance I used to spend a lot of time in when TBC Classic was released, because you could level here as a prop pala by soloing stuff. And Shadow Blast was definitely the one that you had to be super careful with.
This is a good showcase then of the old school leveling strats, but with a slightly smaller group, probably.
Yeah. Well, no, I used to do it solo, right? You used to. Solo
well, never mind.
A slightly bigger group.
Huge group.
Yeah, but you're right. These mobs at the beginning, especially here and then just down the stairs, are going to be the ones you probably don't want to pull too much of. The little ones here will die in one hit. That's not a problem. But the actual groups of the bigger spiders, you definitely want to avoid. And it looks like they've managed to find a route to do it. So well done them. If they've found it, and into the small spiders here, once again will die in one hit, as we see a dancing chicken flying around the place.
We sure do.
I wonder if they're going to be able to do this. This will be interesting for me. If they can do this and they can skip this, then this is huge because it's basically most of the difficult part of the instance skipped. And they've
Yeah, it does look like they're more or less just gonna ignore the vast majority of the instance, which makes a lot of sense. Again, these mobs are pretty dangerous, so if you can just not do them, that's obviously preferable.
Yeah, I think they probably should have pulled those mobs into the boss room, but they do have a web that might stop them from doing that, and now they've got slightly ruined by the patrol, as we can see the shadow. Is that Shadow Blast? My eyes are failing me. And a long cast coming out, and that's probably the hit you were talking about. That was a lot of health that just got chunked.
Yeah, you got to be careful, especially on a. Ooh, it just happened again. I think it's 65% of max health that ability does. So if you don't have a Word of Glory ready as the paladin here, then you got to hope that your Shadow Priest has you.
But it has a balanced druid, so maybe one of them is going to have.
That is a good point. They do just have a lot of healing, even though that's not their main specs, just collectively.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, this is actually quite a decent amount of damage coming out. Although I was about to say damage done seems a bit crazy, but it's not. Is that encounter damage
I think it is encounter damage.
with the prop paladin on top?
Paladins do a lot of damage. I wasn't joking about the prop paladin damage.
Oh my goodness.
I am surprised that they're seeing this on single target, though, although I guess they are dropping while the ads are dead, so that makes sense. Yeah, Judgment deals a ton of single target damage. They have the spinning hammers. They hit several times. Righteous Shield of the Righteous is an off global cooldown, which just doesn't exist at level 30 other than that button, I don't think, in terms of like DPS buttons. Then they also have Consecrate and naturally their Avenger's Shield, which bounces all around the place. Although it doesn't look like he has spec'd into Avenger's Shield dealing pulsing damage when it hits, which is surprising, but maybe they just found that they didn't need that extra AoE damage and would rather just either go more defensive or more single target. It's hard to say.
Yeah, this is one of the horrible decisions you have to make in this event. Is you just have such a limited toolkit. You have to just make a decision and hope it's the best one. That you're not going to be able to get all the things you want, and you're going to be thinking, oh, if I had 2 more points, then I could do it, or if I had 1 more point, I could get that one amazing ability and combine it with whatever else it would be. But no, that's not in this one. Maybe when we eventually get around to doing Cataclysm, that will be the one where that happens.
Did just see our friend the Paladin boost himself forward there. I wonder if there's some engineering item that he's using for that, or what that was.
I completely missed that. We'll have to ask him.
It looked like a disengage, but you know he's not a hunter.
Oh, there we go. Oh no, this is. I think those mobs have a.
Oh, it may have just been lucky. Yeah, that's it. He's just using it for movement. That's all it was.
I mean, if you can use knockback like that for movement, then maybe we found the second best tank in the guild after you, Sippy.
I mean, positioning is probably the most important thing for a tank. There's a reason the saying is always hell is other tanks, because if the other tank doesn't have the same idea about what good positioning is compared to you, then it becomes very strange very quickly.
Hell is other. I've never heard that one. Is that?
Okay, well, it's something I say all the time. It might just be me.
Not sure that says anything about you specifically in your experience of tanks, but maybe it's a wider community thing. And if not, then we can get it printed on a T-shirt.
I certainly know a lot of other tanks who feel similarly, because again, it's all a positioning game when you play tank, unless you're actually struggling with survivability. But a lot of the time in endgame, that's not your problem.
This instance is obviously taking a bit longer. I used to hate this move when the Wrath was actually properly out.
It's just gonna disappear.
Yeah, and then it would come back and do the like blood drain or whatever it's called on you, and just end up being like, guys,
help me,
please.
I want to do damage. Unfortunately, our prop paladin can't show off his great damage this time because he's just gonna be on the floor at all times, it would appear.
Yeah, well, don't know what to say about that, to be honest. We're gonna skip a couple of these bosses because they're just not necessary. I think one of them for sure isn't necessary, the one to the left as you go down there. Zippy, I need you to very quickly just keep talking for me.
All right. Well, we'll see how they make it to the next boss here. It's been a really smooth run, I will say. For no healer team, as we discussed earlier, they all have like heals in their kit, even though they're not healers per se, and that's doing a lot for their sustain, I think. And once again, they're running that Shadow Priest with Holy Nova, which will just occasionally burst for 1 billion damage. Although the Shadow Priest is doing all of the damage here, I would love to see what it is that the Shadow Priests do, because I trust my Shadow Priest. I haven't really interrogated him about the best ways to play it. I know he's just going to do it. But it seems like they deal a ton of damage,
What do
even
Shadow
without just
Priests
Holy
do?
Movie.
What do they do, indeed?
Well, they mindfully, for sure.
That's all we know they do.
I do wonder, with this amount of Shadow Priests, how many are running PI and found worth in that, and how many are spending their talents elsewhere.
How far down is PI? I think, can you get to Twins of the Sun Priestess? As a level 30?
Where you proc it on both of you? I
Yeah.
believe you can, yeah, I think so. I think that was originally our plan, and then we decided that actually we'd rather just spend the talent points on movement speed, because things were dying anyway.
I guess it is one of those things. It depends how big you pull, and if you have a, for example, if you go for a Warlock with Seed of Corruption and you manage to PI the Seed of Corruption, then you're going to end up having quite a good time.
Well, that's it. We also kind of agonized over it because we're running an Unholy DK, who famously scale really well off of haste. But if things are already dead, then you don't need more DPS, right?
This is a very good point. Yeah, if it dies, but when is the kind of the divide between it being worth it and not? I guess is
yeah, exactly. If the mobs die before we reach the boss anyway, then who needs more damage?
Yeah, Gundrak isn't necessarily one of those instances from before where you need the movement speed, but when you come to somewhere like Unkayat, then
the movement speed here is gonna be massive, and we're definitely gonna need to figure out a way to boost our DK, I think.
Yeah, then this kind of one like this is definitely one of those ones where you're looking at it thinking,
For sure. I mean, you can see the priest here on the mini map is a mile away from his teammates, because they're just not as mobile, at least not in bursts.
Well, I know that in Wrath of the Lich King, just coming back to it, if you're just joining us or you didn't catch us earlier, Wrath of the Lich King gear only, so nothing from before or after is allowed in these events. I know. I'm pretty sure engineering you can have rocket boots, but then you have to take the hit from the lower stats because it only does eye level 50, I believe. The other stuff goes up to 110, I believe is max, maybe 114. But if you're, I mean, maybe on an instance like this, you can swap them out, and if you're out of combat, swap them back again. Maybe that will be the way of getting a DK to have the faster movement speed.
It's a lot of micro, but as long as I don't have to do it, I'm fine with it.
Pretty much how I feel about raiding, yeah. If I can spam the DPS and don't have to micro anything, that's fantastic for me.
Exactly. Well, especially as with anyone that's not a tank, it'll be a lot easier. A lot of the time, you're going to have to judge when you're about to get aggro just from proximity and then switch your items out, which is pretty awkward. But for a DPS, it might be worthwhile running the rocket boots. Could be anyway. Might be worth testing.
Giving you ideas, giving the game away. I can't see a timer on that, but I'll maybe I've hidden it with the.
It was certainly smooth. I know that much. It was certainly a smooth run.
Absolutely, it was smooth. I'll reach out to them and we'll obviously get that fixed for Sunday. Make sure they have the timer on the screen, but I'll work out what their best time was, and what the best time is overall. They said they didn't run it because it was a test run. Well, never mind.
That makes sense.
So we won't have the those times to show to you just yet, but that's going to bring us up to roughly halfway. So we're going to take a bit of a 10-minute break, and then we're going to get back into it again, switching over to our second co-host of Honestly, and saying thank you very much to Zippy, and we'll be watching you keenly as the first team to run after the break.
Thank you very much for having me. That's it's been a blast.
The Starship World of Warcraft community is proudly supported by Blizzard Entertainment, Raider.io, Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
face with your blood! Say hello to my big friend!
Power level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Who took the bomb?
My visions are not the same as the others. No radiance, no song. Just the shadow taunting me from below. The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife. And our battle lies deep within.
Hello, and welcome back to the second half of the Starship Race to World Worst practice run event in preparation for the proper event on Sunday, where we have some amazing prizes. Starship community, once again, to repeat, is partnered with Blizzard, with the Radar.io, Zygor Guides, Glitch Energy, Gamer Advantage, Streamlabs, and Safe in Our World. Joining me for the second half is our beloved community leader, Adam. Say hello.
Hi.
Well, this was a mistake. And we're going to watch Zippy, who, if you were in for the first half, was my co-host, who did a fantastic job. And let's see what they can do on Guardian Druid, a Unholy DK, and a Shadow Priest, running in Utgard Keep, which is one that we haven't seen yet. How's your Utgard Keep going? What do they have to beat?
Well, we just absolutely smashed that last run. We're trying to work out how we did it because we got 25 seconds up on our previous burst. So we just did a 5:45, which was pretty good. We're pretty stoked with that. But yeah, it's all good. To be honest with you, I've not seen Zippy's team yet, and they're the one that we fear the most. So this will be interesting.
Just casually taking
Yeah,
a dump from a great height on the other teams there.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that like they have like the other teams they've all ran before, so they've got the experience. Apart from Sicarios, they've run before, so they've got the experience. Whereas the problem with Zippy's team is they're all spreadsheet people. So they have min-maxed what they can out of this. I know they started late in their prep; they're nowhere near as close as us, and I'm a bit of a spreadsheet guy as well. But when it comes to abilities and building your team that way, we've just gone with what feels good, whereas these guys would have built specifically for Wrath of the Lich King dungeons, which is potentially the way to go. But we'll see. We'll see for sure.
Saw Zippy go down a bit there. Pulling a pack I don't think they actually needed to. I think they could have saved a bit of time, but you can see Zippy went down a tiny bit and then just straight back up, switching forms, sprinting around the place, charging in. Oh my goodness, you might have your work cut out, as you were saying. Maybe you do have something to fear.
Yeah, look at that shield thing he's got going on at the moment.
It's pretty much pull everything. You can pull
kind
it
of
all.
mad. Yeah,
Oh, this is
you
what
take it
happens
up.
when you have your guild's main tank who plays every tank in the game, taking on
Yeah,
the level 30
exactly.
speedrun challenge. Is going to end up like this as they
Yeah,
make it to the first boss.
the other thing is, it's like, how much have they actually practiced? Because we started prepping maybe 8-9 weeks ago, doing our gearing, and we've been practicing for at least 4 weeks. So, if they just come in and casually, without much practice, wipe the floor with us, then we're going to be a little bit upset. I'm not going to lie. But see how we go. Oh, they're using the Vanquished Tentacle of Yogg-Saron. Bit of a risky trinket, that one. It means you've got to stand close to it in order for it to do any damage. So, yeah.
I'd be interested to see the damage breakdown of it, because it seemed like it actually did what it was supposed to do there. But I'm talking about damage.
Yeah.
We were talking about DH damage in the first half, and that perhaps it's not the most optimal in terms of the damage output it provides, but especially for the big instances like this, maybe the maneuverability makes up for it. How are you finding it? Does that sound true for you, or maybe you have a different experience?
This particular dungeon is extremely annoying because there are big gaps where you're just running along with stuff following you, and because it's quite a big dungeon. If you were to lay it out, it's probably double the size of, say, Gundrag. Especially if you're doing skips in Gundrag, you can't really skip in here. But yeah, the running from boss to boss is kind of annoying, to be honest. Yeah. This is going to be the first in our rotation, I believe, right? Next week, or is that Gundrag? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be first in our rotation to warm people up, and then Gundrak I think is the one that most people have the most practice with, probably because it's the one that most people like running. It's just short and sweet. But there weren't really many other options when we were coming up with the event for dungeons to choose that were Gundrak-esque even, just because quite a lot of it contains a load of RP or...
Yeah. So the frustrating sort of break in the flow, so to speak. I think the dungeons that you pick for this particular tournament, I think, are great, to be honest. The questionable one for me really is the Nexus, because in my opinion, it's way harder than the others, especially in the crystalline room. But yeah, I think if people have got, it also depends heavily on what your composition is, I think, as well. Maybe that's just a problem for us. Maybe it's base roll for everyone else, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a dungeon in there that's a genuine challenge. I mean, this, as we kind of mentioned last half, is not exactly challenging in the traditional terms of everything will kill you unless you play mechanically perfectly. So it's nice to have a dungeon in there that provides you with a slightly different set of challenges than the rest of them. As they make it all the way up onto the ramparts here, it's been pretty smooth. I don't think I've seen them stop moving yet.
Yeah, they're absolutely along with this stuff. Interesting. Yeah, so I think we were looking at all sorts of stuff with regards to the Nexus and how to improve. Potentially looking at some kind of based on how much many restrictions we've got, because we can only use Wrath of the Lich King consumables, but resistances to arcane damage and things like that potentially. But we couldn't really find anything that would help with that. So we just had to set up a little bit of a stun and interrupt rotation to be able to get through some of the more tricky pack pulls in there, because the bosses are relatively easy, but the different trash is a different story.
I'm not sure if you just saw. I think that was showing Zippy just hovering over the damage done, showing that a tentacle was the third place on the damage done, with quite a high percentage of.
Well, maybe you shouldn't have done that, because we've definitely got more than one of those in our bags.
Is it an AOE trinket? Does it hit everything, or does it only hit one thing?
You'd have to ask Rawley. I don't know, to be honest. All I can remember is back in the day, I was super stoked when we got it off of our Dogs Are Wrong, because it was a tentacle that you could put on the ground. But yeah, just aesthetically, it's very cool.
Okay, this is the final time. How did it compare to yours? Remind us all.
They looks to me they've got to gain 40 seconds somewhere.
They've got to gain 40 seconds. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are your secrets?
Don't feel so bad now. I can't really go into our secrets too much. Just what you got to do is just make sure your tank is under a lot of pressure. That's pretty much it. But yeah, I think they can definitely gain on that. It's interesting. I want to see them, because they've got a similar comp to ours. Well, kind of. I'm a demon hunter and they've got a DK, and Rawley's playing as a resto shaman because it does more damage than elemental shaman. So that kind of replaces their shadow priest. But other than that, it's relatively similar comp. So I think it'd be interesting to see how they do the Nexus. It will be a real treat to see them do the Nexus, and watching.
Maybe they will bless us with that a bit later, and they can let me know. But first, they have to make their way out of Kharkiv, which isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. But talking of the Nexus, let's go over to Sicarios, who are currently doing bits and pieces in the Nexus.
Oh, cool.
So you are the Nexus expert, so you can tell us where they are, and are they next to the bit that's going to cause problems?
Hell were they in the Nexus?
Are they? Are they not?
Wait, they're running it backwards? Huh?
It does.
No, they're pulling. Yeah, I think they might be running it backwards, which is a flex. They also seem to be treating it a little bit like Mythic Plus, because they're pulling all the trash, which I would definitely not do. But
you wouldn't pull all the trash? Why not? It looks like it's going okay for them.
Because we only need to be killing bosses, right?
Yes.
So that counts towards the timer. Bosses, yeah. So any additional packs is wasted time. But yeah, that's just me. I mean, they might just be doing it as a safety procedure. But got to take risks to get ahead. Okay. The only thing is here we haven't got a timer, so we can't see how they're actually doing.
Okay, well,
but they seem to be surviving.
Talking of timers and the Nexus, then let's switch over to the start of a run, which is the start of this Nexus, and let's see how this one goes. With dead on arrival, you.
Oh, okay, spicy.
Yeah,
that's our arch enemies.
Really? I didn't realise there was such a strong rivalry going on.
There's a rivalry. We last season we had Ramparts down to a T, and we were winning through the whole first phase, and then right in the last pull, they decided to do this absolutely magical split pull thing with their hunter, and they won. They won that round, and we're very bitter about it.
You did win the event, so I mean...
We did win the event, but we would have won better if we did that round.
There are degrees of winning which have to be used to flex.
Yeah, bear in mind as well that we'd practiced one of the wrong dungeons as well, so we were already on the back foot with
I
that.
forgot about that. Yeah. Man,
But I did have a warglaive, so whatever.
offhand. It's offhand. Don't start this with me. But you did have the ability to glitch through the map, fall all the way down to the floor, and still win. So I mean, you did pretty well.
And I forgot to turn my wings off, so I slowly fell to the floor.
All watching you on stream. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. But talking about winning,
Yeah.
the prizes that you won were given away at guild events. So tell us more about some of these guild and community events.
Yeah, sure. So I won, and I'm like, obviously, I'm
Not my team.
founder.
I won. Just straight off.
No, I'm talking specifically about my prizes though.
Okay.
So I didn't want to speak for my friends then. But yeah, so when my team won, obviously I don't want to take those prizes. So what we did is we put them into a pot for our community meetup that happened in London back in October, and we sort of we did like a little raffle type thing, and we raffled them off. We do all sorts of in-game and IRL events in Starship. Yeah. No, what do you want to specifically know? There's so much that we do. I mean, your best bet is to join our community. Just all you do is you head to our Discord, discord.gg/Starship. I'll pop it in chat as well. One sec. Yeah, and then just say hello to people, introduce yourself, let us know what you're into. You can select your interests by selecting roles as part of our onboarding on our Discord, and then we do regular group events where we will get everyone into one big channel, and then we'll split off and do plus in groups, and try and help people that aren't necessarily keen on doing endgame but want to get into it and don't know how to take that first step. So that's the kind of thing that we do. We run this raid school that, hosted by Zippy every Sunday, where we get new players and alts in. Usually for the first few lockouts of the season, we'll do that on normal. But we've got into heroic relatively early in the season this time around. So if anyone's interested in doing some heroic raid school, I'm sure that's on the cards in the coming weeks. But yeah, generally tend to be as inclusive and non-judgmental as possible. Everyone has to start somewhere, and we're hopefully here to help guide you into endgame, which is a nice thing, we think.
Yep. So if you met Zippy in the first half and want to spend more time with him, then Sunday is your best bet, as he will guide you through all of the raids with his.
But not this Sunday.
But not this Sunday. That's true. This Sunday we have other plans. We have this we have this event. Yeah. But 3 minutes 47 currently on Dead on Arrival, coming up to the second boss, which I kind of think
Interesting. I'm checking my spreadsheet now.
Quite a bit far behind what you told us you were doing. Although the bosses at the end do kind of get a lot closer together, so it depends on the time to.
It's a rough one. This is a much longer dungeon than you think it is, because there's a lot of run up to a platform, then run back across where you've been, and then go slightly up a bit more, and then jump back onto a platform that you've been to jump across a gap to get to another bit. And yeah, there's quite a lot of map to navigate. Even that first run up to the first boss, and then from the first to the second boss is the majority of the dungeon. Really. But yeah, it's good. The good thing about this is the bosses are all relatively easy apart from the last one. It's the trash that's the problem.
You think the last boss in here is hard? What's causing a difficulty for your group?
If you are relying heavily on your one caster, and your one caster gets locked in place, and then they get chain silenced because they've not been jumping up and down, then there's a problem.
Okay, I see.
So that one person is responsible for healing us. So that's where we've hit problems. But I mean, yeah, I don't want to give away too many secrets for our tactics on that. But I would say we've spent more time practicing this dungeon than any of the others.
Okay.
Sure.
As we get into the famous tree gauntlet now, as we're going to call it, going forwards into Sunday even.
Sorry, Rawley's just corrected me. It wasn't a silence. It was a stacking dot. Yeah.
Letting the team down.
It's good. You see, that's what I mean. I know that something happens. I just don't know what it is. I'm here to do damage.
They've managed to navigate this quite well, and it seems like they've pulled everything. So let's see how this goes for them as they end on Ormarok, the tree shaper. And
it's interesting. Potentially a little bit of a line of sight thing going on there, which is quite a nice little tactic.
The health looked a bit iffy on the left-hand side of the screen. It's all red.
Yeah. Half of the health's missed. Half of that. Oh, spicy. Okay. Yeah.
They've managed to keep themselves up though, and pretty much everything's gone down. It was pretty harem scarum, rock'em sock'em robots for a bit, but it looks like they're going to pull through without too much of a problem. Does it look like
That's
something
good.
to what you're doing, or are you going a bit smoother and
definitely not? These guys haven't got a tank, so they've not got any fallback. We're just sending our furball in to do what they need to do, and then just delicately throwing spells at them.
Was there any thought as to why Guardian Druid, or as opposed to any of the other tanks, or is it just what your tank was most used to?
We are keeping our build our comp from last season, and Chris knows Guardian better than any of the other tanks, so we just thought, okay, well, let's just stick with it. I was considering going as a monk, but at low level, I don't know, because I main a monk. I main a Windwalker monk, as some of you know, but at low level, I don't know how good that's going to be. Obviously, because this is quite a unique event, there's no sort of forums and things where people theory craft this out. We have to do this ourselves, and the way to do that is to actually test it. And yeah,
it looks like
it'd be a huge.
Wired a lot of company joining them on this last boss, though.
Oh,
I don't know
right, okay. They don't want that big guy.
Oh, it looks like they're so far surviving it without too much of a problem that I guess it's just a race now to see whether they can get the boss down. And there it goes, 7:49. The ads don't matter, remember. The ads do not matter. If they all die after this, then that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But 7:49 the Nexus, and what do you think about that?
I think that's kind of a medium time. When we first came into this dungeon, we did a 13-minute. That was our first ever pull, and we were like, this isn't going to be as easy as we thought. So it's respectable for sure. It's not the fastest, but still respectable, and they're alive, so that's good.
Well, that's definitely half the battle. We're going to watch double bacon and haggis now. Zippy is keeping himself up with a couple of hills thrown his way, but this looks quite a lot different to the one we watched with Sicario when they were avoiding all the ads. Zippy's just gone face first into them.
Yeah. You see, he's a tank main, so he knows what he can handle. And they haven't got a healer. They are going.
Oh, and down he goes. He just took the big percentage damage hit that he was warning us all about earlier. But I mean, this is what happens when you have these practice runs, right? You find out what you can and can't do. But it looks like so far he might actually be able to get back before the rest of his team dies, and perhaps this will be an interesting way of seeing. As he's just typing there,
even then carrying on.
If he's able to do it and carry on, and see if his team can push forward. Because obviously, in the event itself, each dungeon is half an hour. We only get half an hour to do each of them. So, I mean, if you die trying to do something like this in the event, then just keep going. Is the main thing you can do.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a problem with that with regards to Gundrak actually, because if you do die in Gundrak and you release, you have to fly across the map, and because you can't, you don't have flying death at this point in the game. You have to run without a mount back to your body. So what I've been doing is, when we've been wiping on that one, is taking the res sickness, because it's a lot shorter now. By the time I get back into the instance, I'm back up again. So it's a lot harder on that dungeon than what I'm getting at. Is a lot harder on that dungeon than any of the others to carry on if someone dies and get them to come back to you. So it's just one to watch out for sure.
Yes, as it's taken quite a long time to kill the first boss. I don't quite know what's happened there. Perhaps they got unlucky with the ad, but
Yeah,
Zippy's going an interesting way.
I think if you haven't played this dungeon before, which is potentially the case here, they weren't aware of the ad that makes the boss immune until it's dead. Maybe because it looked like they were just cleaving on it, and they should have single targeted it. But don't get me wrong, I'm going to get so much blame for that later. But no, that's what it looked like to me. Don't be too mean.
No, I'm
Very
not.
tired.
I'm not going to be. I don't think Zippy's realised you can't jump down here.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, that's going to add quite a lot of time onto double bacon and haggis.
Yeah.
And onto their time here.
They
But
do
we'll
worry
stick
me
with
though,
it.
like I was saying earlier. No, it's sorry, I keep on interrupting you. It's not very good casting. Carry on.
Don't worry. I was just going to say we're sticking with them for now because everyone else is taking a bit of a break. So we'll see what they're able to pull. Well, it's very much is the testing phase right now for double bacon and haggis, and as they move up towards the first pylon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see the achievement pop up when they kill the last boss on this one. I think this might be their first practice in here.
Yeah, I think it is as well.
If so, they're doing great.
If not, then we have a problem. But so far, so good.
Yeah.
This is one of the things though about the event, as we were kind of touching on before. That's okay. Yeah, it's annoying having to run back and all of this, but it is part of the old world content. So yeah, it does get on your nerves and all of this, and you understand it. But going back into these old dungeons and making them somewhat competitive again, and finding some community content and sharing that kind of sense of, oh my god, we're all in this together and this is annoying or this is fun or whatever, is part of the event itself. So
Yeah, for sure.
we can't take too much away from that. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle this boss and if it annoys them when one of them gets pinned to the floor, or if they manage to do it without any problems at all. As they're just about to spawn it, I believe. And we're going to also have a look after this at Sicarios doing Gundrak. They're just flying their way over.
Awesome. Yeah, if anyone watching wants to have a go at their own race to World Worst, we have a week aura for this. You can get it from starshipeu.org. Just head to the week aura section. What it does is it basically validates the gear that you're wearing to make sure that it's within the restrictions that we've put in place, and then it will also start a timer when the first trash or boss or whichever is engaged, and then the timer will stop when the last boss dies. So it's really cool. We love it. Takes a little bit of setup, but yeah, like I say, if you want to have a go, get practicing for next season, which will inevitably be happening later on in the year. Then yeah, let us know your scores. Tweet at us, Starship_EU.
Well, hopefully by that time we'll actually have a website set up with times that the add-on will integrate into the website and all sorts of crazy stuff. But there are no promises. No promises just yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's in our future. But hopefully we'll have that with prizes. But I think we're going to slowly head away from double bacon and haggis, as I don't think this run is necessarily something to write home about.
Yeah.
And
Testing. Oh, they've not gone down the alleyway.
Where have they gone?
Interesting. There's ran down to the platform, tried to jump off the edge, so they need to go down the tunnel. Yeah, there you go. That's it, Zippy. Yeah. Interesting.
And let's just switch away to a bit of now time for something completely different, as they would say. The good, bad, and the ugly are in ICC 25 farming some gear. I'm interested to see if they get anything good from the Lich King, because I've never got anything good from the Lich King ever. So I'm trying to make sure my bad luck passes on to them, because I'm bitter and twisted.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, the Lich King, when we were farming this, was the least likely boss that would drop anything good for us, because all of the weapons used to have special procs on them, but as time has gone on, these procs have been removed, and they've just been turned into base stats. So there's like Nibelung, which I think you mentioned earlier, from Lady Death Whisper, and then there's Black Bruise, which drops from one of the Vestagot Rotface bosses. Can't remember which one. Their procs still work, so definitely worth doing those. But we usually skip out on the Lich King unless you're going for that cheeky, invincible chance. But yeah, it's fun though. It's been good getting back into running ICC because reputably the best raid ever made, right?
You think?
Yeah, or Aldwar. ICC Aldwar.
Was Wrath your first?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm a Wrath baby, so that's why.
I see. Okay. Well, I kind of I guess I would have to agree with you to some extent, although I think for what it did for the game moving forwards, probably Karazhan for me.
Okay, so TBC.
Yeah, although I started in Classic, so
it's a long dungeon, though, Karazhan. A long raid, isn't it?
Really?
So much RP.
Depends on
and
your
the
group,
chess game.
If you have a bad group, then you're just take fun.
Well, I wouldn't know because I've done it after release. So,
I see.
Yeah.
Just moving around definitely takes some time. It's not as streamlined as of an experience as it is now. That's absolutely for sure. Oh, it's what got one shot. What?
No, that was the trash.
No, he's rezzing. Oh, because he's boosting the level 30. Okay, I forgot.
Wait, what?
He's just dropped down and clapped him. We'll have a look now as they head off over to.
Hang on, no, they've just done that on in their actual group.
No, one of them's a 70 and the rest of them are 30s. No.
No, they're all 30.
No
That's
way. Because they're hitting like 1.5 million.
Oh, hang on. A widow's different spelling and it's a priest. Okay, yeah. My bad.
If he's hitting 1.5 million at level 30, then they'll come up with some strats that we definitely weren't supposed to show on stream.
Yeah. Also, if they are even managing to get anywhere close to 3 man in this, that would be incredible. But yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
We will we'll leave them here and we'll join them again once the horrific amount of RP is over, and we'll go have a look at the Dead on Arrival team in Ankahet, and let's have a look how they're doing. They have their timer on, so we can compare them to Zippies.
Cool. Let's have a look.
This your rivals, as you say. So tell us about your Ankahet runs. What was the bit that you were finding the most difficult here? You were saying about Nexus, about the tree forest, but what about this one?
This one, and I mean, Prince Taladram was always a little bit concerned because they go invisible and they jump out all over the place. But we've come up with a strategy on that one. Can't give it away, but it involves. I can't give it away. It's no more of a concern. And then the last boss I remember really hitting hard back in the day, but it seems to be absolutely fine. The biggest problem was getting over the emotional distress of having to kill the third boss, because we never used to kill the third boss back in the day. It was a fully skippable boss. So but it's a pleasure to be back in here. So
he said through his teeth. I know what you mean. It was fully skippable back in the day. Everyone used to skip it. I mean, after the first couple of weeks, I can't even remember what it dropped necessarily. There's just always two
kind
skippable ones in here, wasn't there?
Yeah. There's a heroic only mushroom boss, and then Chidoga Shadow Seeker. That one. They were the skippable ones, but I was always, when we came to this part of the map, when we were in Dragonblight, I was all about Anchorage, right? Yeah. Anchorage, hang on. No, I'm talking about the wrong thing, aren't I? The other Nerubian dungeon under the ground. Azul Nerub, that's it. Anchorage, what's that? That's a vanilla raid, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a vanilla raid. Yeah.
My bad. My bad.
Oh dear.
Should probably go to bed a bit earlier tonight.
Yeah, well, talking about going to bed, we've got another 20, 25 minutes or so until we wrap up the stream. So hopefully you stay with us all the way until the end. If you have any questions, then let us know in the chat. Once again, if you want to join us on some crazy community events, we have some coming up. We have this event on Sunday. We have more iterations of it throughout the year. We also have an event in collaboration with the Time Walking Community Discord, which will be the 4th of February. And are we allowed to talk about the rest of the events that we have? Are we?
Not yet, but there's some really cool ones that are partnered with some really cool people and organisations that you're probably going to want to be involved in. We also do a lot of giveaways and things like that with our partners, and offer some really cool member perks in partnership with our partners, obviously. So yeah, just head on to our Discord. You'll find everything there. If you want to just test the water first, you can always check out our website, starshipeu.org, which we try to keep updated. So yeah.
Well, talking about prizes, let's switch back to looking at if there's any loot from the Lich King. What do we have here?
Feeling an invincible.
No invincible. I don't think anyone got an invincible.
I won't know yet, will they? Oh no, you're
I'm
a little bit ahead of
me.
me.
Oh, well, never mind. There's always next week.
They got the one-handed sword.
It's not so bad.
So that's okay if you're looking for a stat stick. Like I say, you want one of the ones with the procs, really.
Yeah, that's always going to be the one. Have you found that any of the procs? Because you have, you don't have any casters. Yeah, you have Rawley who's a caster. Has he got?
Yeah, we have Rawley. He's got Nibelung. I've got double black bruise because it's not unique equipped, so it procs more often.
How are you finding the damage from Nibelung when it procs?
I'm not entirely sure. Look, Rawley is either doing 200 DPS or 6,000. There's no in between. So I'm assuming it's something to do with that.
It's definitely not that he's just bored, right? He's not paying attention. He's like, whatever. Oh, then he just looks back at the screen. Oh, I'm 2 yards away. Chain lightning again. Chain. I've lost the ability to have a look at chat, by the way. If you can have a.
It's cool. Rawley's just in there. We've got Valvegia in there as well. Maz got a mental axe, he's saying. So that'd be worth checking out.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me have a quick look. Keep talking.
I thought it was going to be slightly quicker than that. Sorry. As we
I've not got the armory open.
Shadow Seeker goes down, and we're now on the sprint to the final boss. The burning rush on the Warlock is definitely paying off here, and might be an interesting strategy. It's actually quite a quick group with a BM Hunter, Holy Priest, and Demo Lock. Perhaps the speed is what they're going for. It's definitely interesting trade-offs between control, max damage, and just speed. As 6 minutes 10 to the final boss.
Yeah, that's 6:10. Let me compare that to ours real quick without too much away. Okay.
Oh, by your happiness, then I assume that it's not quite near your time just yet.
It's close. It's close. It's not bad at all. I think there's a few things that they can do here to speed this up for sure. The problem is if you on this last boss, if you go into the mind control phase unprepared, it can drag out so much. So you want to make sure that you're all positioned well, so the boss isn't taking ages to get around to different people, and the mind control people aren't. Yeah, I mean, like here, that's pretty good. Although I think Kizza might have died there.
It doesn't. If she's dead or not, it's the last boss. Sacrifice yourself for the greater good. As it comes in at 6:54.
That's not so bad. That's all right. Yeah.
The really horrible thing about some of these instances is how long it's going to take to run and reset with a 30-minute timer. So really, and we're pretty strict about the timer as well. It's not like if you start before 30 minutes, you can finish. It finishes on 30 minutes on the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we've got to bear in mind flight times and things like that, and make sure keep that flow going, right?
Exactly. So if you're doing a 7-minute run, let's say 7, 14, 21, you realistically get 4 tries.
Yeah. And you've got to be really quick on the recovery too.
Yeah, you've got to be really quick on the recovery because that's what, 7, 14, Am I doing the math wrong? 7, 14, 21, 28?
Yeah.
Right, so you've got to be able to recover it. So maybe realistically you've got 3, unless you manage to find us, or if you reset one halfway through, maybe you have 4. So that's obviously going to be something to keep in mind. Gundrak is obviously super quick and easy, and just round and round and round you go, right? But Ankahet, and especially Utgard Keep, how long it takes to get out and reset that is definitely going to be a lot of running, and that would be one of the things that's actually probably really beneficial for the DH, is just how quickly you can move, not only during the actual run itself, but then in between the multiple different runs that you're actually doing.
Yeah. Oh, so Bebs is saying that Kiz did not die. It was Bebs' staff. So Bebs is. I think I was there helping them farm out their ICC run one night, and Bebs actually got the one we were just talking about.
Nibbler?
The one of Nibbler, that one. So it's something to do with that. Why Bebs was in angel form. I don't know the proc on it off the top of my head, so I'm no caster. I stay away from that stuff.
Okay, and they're in again, but we're gonna have a look and see who else is around, and we will go back and have a look at any differences that Zippy's team, Double Bacon and Haggis, have made since their last run, which didn't quite go to plan, but maybe they have a slightly more updated route than they did last time, as they're all making their way in.
But just going back to the Nexus, what you were saying with regards to getting out of the dungeon quickly, that's really nicely set up, because you get to the last boss and you're at the door again. Whereas Gundrak's kind of the same, because it's got that easy portal out. You're right. Like, Utgard Keep is probably the worst to get out. I think you're probably going to waste 30, 35 seconds each time getting out of that dungeon. So you've got like 7-minute dungeon. You got to go round. You're gonna got 30 seconds spare, really, by the time you've done your runs and got out of the dungeon again.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting progression of dungeon design. Not wanting to make this too much of a meta discussion, but how it progressed from classic, where I'm trying to think of a classic dungeon in which Dead Mines actually you pretty much ended you ended and you could leave, but then it was a completely different place to where you entered. So it wasn't quite the same. What could be one that you could do that with? There were actually maybe a couple at the beginning that you could do that with. Wailing Caverns was definitely one that was just huge, though, like once you did the entire loop. But now it's definitely more consistently done, so you can in and out the same place and just reset to your heart's content without having to have the multiple minute run back, like Blackrock Depths, for example, which is probably one of my favourite ever dungeons. But that's
such a classic kid.
I am such a classic kid. Well, as I said,
you saying these things, they're making me shudder. Like, I can remember just being lost in there for hours and I didn't know what to do.
That's part of the fun. Well, it was part of the fun for me. And to be fair, it was part of the fun back in the day where that was the kind of thing that I enjoyed. Now I'm older and perhaps wiser. That's not something I would enjoy if I ended up having to get lost in a dungeon for 20 minutes and not have a guide to be able to get me out, right? That's maybe something that's not quite as enjoyable as when I had 8 hours of free time a day, as opposed to duties and all of this. But anyway, we'll stop talking about boomer stuff and get back on to... Oh, he just got absolutely clapped and instantly looks at the recap. I have no idea how Zippy just got absolutely 100 to owed. That was painful.
Okay. That came through a little bit late for me, but that was some madness.
I don't know if he just got unlucky with the mob swing timers and they all hit him at basically the same time. Or
Shadow Blast. Googie's saying Shadow Blast.
Shadow Blast. Yeah, but Shadow Blast doesn't do literally... I mean, he didn't literally do his entire health pool, right? It does a hell of a chunk, but he has to get hit by other things as well for him to die.
Yeah. Not sure. Well, they finished it off anyway. It's fine.
Yeah, but, back in time again.
Gluggy's also suggested that next time we do Wrath of the Lich King, we should do Violet Hold because it's just get in there and get out again. However, you're not considering the RP, man. There's so much RP in there, in between each of the like waves and things like that.
Well, I was thinking about doing Violet Hold, but everyone hates Violet Hold, so I mean that's one thing. The other thing is obviously that you can't guarantee the same bosses. So
oh yeah, true. Consistency is really important. So
well, I mean,
yeah.
if this was literally just for fun, and there were no prizes on the line, then maybe I'd be like, yeah, screw it, let's do Violet Hold. But I can't imagine someone losing by a couple of seconds because the boss that they pulled in Violet Hold had like some really annoying mechanic, and the other team didn't. I can't imagine trying to justify that, and when there are prizes on the line, right? So that's perhaps one thing to keep in mind. I don't know what other instances could have been chosen for this realistically. People wanted Pit of Sauron and all of this sort of thing, but there's way too much RP in those.
There's also a lot of achievement and things that you got to do, right? I don't think that'd be as accessible.
You have to, yeah,
No.
you have to unlock. Well, if you want to do all three of them, you have to unlock them one by one, right? You have to run through them in the order.
Yeah.
They run from one to another, but
See people doing that the day before. Yeah. We've got a question from chat. Will the next race be at 40?
The next race at the minute will not be at 40. The next race is currently planned to be, as far as I know, and considering I'm the one planning it, that tells you a lot about how planned it is. Classic, because Classic was one we did only within our community. Then we opened up TBC for being streamed, and then Wrath of the Lich King is currently being streamed and will be the main event on Sunday. The next one will go back to being Classic. So Classic, TBC, Wrath, all level 30. Kata is 35. So what's after Kata? Mop would be 40?
Yeah.
So
we might not even go that far with it. It's quite likely that we will just rotate these three and just get better at them each time. So Classic, TBC, Wrath, depending on how we feel about it, really. There's quite a lot of planning that goes into these events, so I'm sure it'll be magical regardless. I do really want Kata, I'm not going to lie. Dead Mines and Shadowfang Keep remastered would be so good. Yeah, Dead Mines specifically.
Well, can you imagine people trying to survive the lasers?
Yeah.
That's, to be fair, that's a proper modern dungeon design all the way back in Kata. Although it's slightly annoying how it ports you back all the way, but that's something different entirely.
Yeah.
There are loads of good items in Kata. I was having a look the other day in case that's the direction we wanted to go in, and oh my god, the amount of procs and stuff you get on items is insane. I think if we did Kata, we'd have to do 2-man or 2-person rather than 3.
Wow. Okay, that's
huge procs and stuff. So that it makes it slightly more complicated, I would say.
You got an example off the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head, no. But there are definitely a few. There definitely are a few.
Nostra's is saying modern Dead Mines was redesigned 10 years ago. That's true. That's very true.
No, it's not. I know. I'm not saying it's modern. Well, for me, right? Maybe it is. Right. I'm not saying it's modern, but the fact that you had like a little mini game to do, as opposed to just this is the boss, kill it. Right. You got teleported back, then you had the laser quest on the way back. It seems like something that's heavily movement orientated. That's perhaps more of a feature of the newer style. Because what would be other ones that are like movement orientated mechanics or a movement orientated mechanic around that time?
Ooh, wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm saying that I might just be completely wrong, but that's just off the top of my head. So.
Oh, you got the mini game when you get back to Cookie as well. Yeah. Do the throwing different fish in the pot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm saying what other dungeons do you have that are like that around that kind of time? Because I would say that kind of marks a point in which they went maybe a slightly different direction in what they wanted to do with designs in dungeons.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's I can't think. Just like
Can you name 5 dungeons in WoW, or is your head fried?
I can name 5 dungeons. Well, yeah, Ruby Life Pools. That's it.
It's like this thing when you're under pressure, right? And you go,
Yeah. Come on, man. You're just trying to make me look stupid.
I'm doing the same. I was like, yeah, there's Dead Mines and I've forgotten all the other dungeons in the game. As that run was actually a pretty long one, actually.
Yeah, what was that? I didn't catch the timer at the end.
It's like 8 minutes ish.
Was it?
I think so.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's their second ever time being there, so I mean,
Yeah.
what are you
Have
gonna
a look
do?
at where we were on that. Okay, so our first run was just over 7 minutes, and we've got a lot better since then. So, yeah, so they've got to push a bit there.
Okay, let's have a look as Zippy goes through his LVUI to change it. A real blast from the past, which is a raid that you were talking about not so long ago, which is oh my god, I've forgotten the name of this damn place. What is it? Trial of the Crusader.
Yes. Oh, they're farming a specific trinket in here.
Are they? It's not Death.
Yeah, it's just dropped.
That's not that good. What are you on about?
It is. It's best for agility classes and like better than any of the ICC ones.
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
really
I've seen
good.
other ones that are better than 75 agi proc. Or does it proc the entire time?
It's up a lot.
Ah, okay. It's one
Yeah.
of those.
You see, the thing is as well, like you can, but like the two that you really want to pay attention to are Deathbringer's Will. That one, Deathbringer's Will is way too much RNG. There was a stage in Goblin These Nuts earlier on in the week where we were all running Deathbringer's Will.
Sorry, just there was a stage in Goblin These Nuts.
Yeah. Where we were all running Deathbringer's Will, and I checked the proc on mine, and I'm an agility class, and I was getting strength, and it's like, come on, you want a little bit more control over it than that. I know they're both RNG trinkets, but if I start getting like intellect or something, come on, what's the point? You know? And I know that it procs quite a lot, and it's actually with Demon Hunter is really annoying when the animation kicks in because you can't tell whether your wings are out or anything like that. It's really annoying. So we've sort of moved away from that trinket, and I've switched to that Death's Verdict or the Horde equivalent. Can't remember what it's called. So yeah, it's a good trinket. Congrats, especially on heroic.
Yeah, of course. This is the part about farming the items for this run. I'm pretty sure there's something good that drops from the last boss here as well, but we'll see if they actually manage to get it to drop or not. As obviously it's going to get one shot.
Now there was a little. I was helping one of the guys from Sicario gear yesterday, and we did every raid in the game. In Wrath, and in ICC and TOC, the set bonuses don't work, and the item level when you go to activate the tokens is item level 35, and you want to be up at 115 really. So you don't really tend to use them. But stuff from Uldar and Nax, the tier set bonus still works, and it's item level 99.
The tier set bonus works?
Yes, the tier set bonus works. So they might be onto something with that.
Are you sure
we'll see how that goes.
Procs? This is news to me.
It's giving him the information when he's got 2 of them equipped. So I wasn't there with him when he was testing it. It might be something magical that's happening. It's probably worth talking to them.
Interesting. I mean, if they've found something secret, then I'm not going to stop them.
Exactly. That's the name of the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Exploit early, exploit often, as they say.
Yeah. So anyway, made me a bit anxious because we've done all our gearing.
We'll have a quick look at who shall we go to? Let me just have a look who's currently running anything.
Is Sicario active? Because you might be able to see those procs happening.
Sicarios are currently on a tiny bit of a break, so we'll switch over to Dead on Arrival, who are trying to perfect that Anchor run. And if we can get one last look at Sicario, then that would be brilliant. But they're currently changing their transmog, which
Important. Transmog's the real end game.
Transmog is the real. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. Although we do have one person in the guild who has like 99.6% on all the things for account mode and not character mode, which is insane.
It's crazy.
You didn't know this?
No, I don't look at stuff like that. Hey, look, we're a community first. We have a guild, but that's just a byproduct. People are welcome to join, by the way. But yeah, I don't really look at stuff like that. I just leave everyone to just be awesome on their own. But, yeah. Hey, that brings me to a talking point. Cross realm guilds. We're definitely going to be opening that up. So if anyone does want to come in and be part of our guild and they can't be bothered to pay that fee for service swap, just hold it out till the then we'll have a spot for you for sure.
And until that time, our Discord is always open, and you can come and chill and get to know us a bit and see if it's something that you are interested in, as they are trying to perfect their time here, running up to the third boss.
This is looking good.
Yeah, this
is looking
is
good. If they can turbo Jadoga here, that's.
I think they need to perhaps pull these a bit quicker towards the boss and maybe proc the boss a bit quicker, because this is really slowed down how they've had to go back and sort out.
Because it's a phased boss as well. Maybe just send someone ahead to go and start doing damage on that boss.
I'm pretty sure it blocks you out. The ads that spawn on the edges, I think they basically act as a wall, but I'm not quite sure. You might be you might be onto something, right? You might just be able to go and pull them.
It might have just changed since we last.
Oh, the last time I did this was 16 years ago, so my memory's probably not what it was.
What's been happening in 16 years?
I know, right? I have teenage memories. That's something to think about as they run all the way. Perfect timing for that ad pack to the last boss.
If they don't pull any trash here, just go straight to that boss. They will have a very good time here.
You're suggesting they just ignore all of those ads and just go straight.
Just kill the boss. Yeah, you need to. They're going to take a lot of damage, but this would be the time to do the equivalent of bloodlust and drink your flasks. I think. But yeah, it's.
It doesn't look like they're going for the risk though, even if they have managed to proc nibbling. Although they're going for it, maybe going straight for the boss there. One of them at least. And let's see if they can get a sub 6 minutes, which I believe if they get sub 6 minutes, then they'll beat your time, won't they?
Yeah, they'll be ahead for sure.
Well, he's got going down to 50% health, going into insanity, so they're only going to have one phase of this as well. If they can get out of it with 520, are they going to take over as being the new leaders as those ads go down super fast? Here comes the boss back out, damageable again. It goes down to 20%. They're going to get it super quick. This is going to be less than 540, 530, 533.
Wow.
A 533
game. The game is on 2 days early now.
Absolutely.
I know what we're practicing tonight.
That's huge. Oh my
GDN,
goodness.
you're seeing this, right?
That's 30, but must be 30 seconds off pretty much the best time so far. So they've found the secret sauce strategy here to manage to get loads of time off. It's pretty much what they did to you last time with Rampart. It's just
Yeah. That is. I will say this though. No pressure, guys, but we've only done 4 pulls in here.
Menacing.
Just saying.
Menacing. That's what that is. Okay. It doesn't look like we're going to have the privilege, unfortunately, of managing to catch Sicarios again. So I'm just having a look if there's anyone else that we can come and say hello to before we take another either, well, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna take, but let's have a look if there's anyone else that we can go and say hi to, as we revel in the rather amazing time that Dead on Arrival just got.
That is very impressive. Yeah. You should be flexing on camera right now, guys.
Well, if we had the cameras, I'm sure they would be doing a bit of a flex. But as they told us earlier, they are the best team. So I mean, they have to do something to show that. But since you're here, is there any reason that we should support your team for Sunday?
Well, yeah, we are the current reigning champions, so it's kind of by default you should be voting for us.
That's not a reason to. It's not a reason to support you, though. This is a reason you might win.
I don't know. There's a reason people stuck by method for so long. Okay. Without getting too controversial, though.
Okay. Well, we'll move over to Sicarios, as these will be our last run of the evening. Watching them complete a Gundrak run with their team of Prop Paladin, Boomkin, and Shadow Priest. It looks like they now have the add-on up, so hopefully they have it working and we can see their time properly.
You sure? I can't see it.
It's on the left.
Oh yeah, the validator's left. Yep. Oh yeah, cool. Okay, so keep an eye on Donic's buffs. I know for a fact he has 2-piece Nax Paladin, Prop Paladin, and 2-piece Uldar. So let's work out what those 2-piece sets are, and see if they buff him.
Okay, we'll have a keen eye on seeing what that is. I'm pretty sure is that a shield from Karazhan? What shield is that? Oh, it's an old one, maybe. Oh,
Transmog might be.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just so old. I forget Transmog exists. I'm sorry. That looks like a Paladin buff. On the top right of the screen. What's that? I don't play Paladin. You're gonna have to help me.
Yeah, the one with the Judgment Helm.
Yeah.
Thing like that. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I will have to ask him directly. Can you send him a message and ask him if it's actually proccing? That would be rather nice. But maybe let's wait until the end of this run first to see how well they do. So, what time do they have to beat? Remind us.
Okay, so we are in Gundrak, and current sort of. Oh, I don't want to no, this is the one. You're trying to trick me here. I'm not telling you our time in here. It's our best dungeon, the one that we enjoy the most.
Well, you can add some time. I have a vague recollection of it being 3:30-ish.
It's 15 minutes, 15 seconds.
Come on. There's no way it's 15 minutes. Oh my goodness.
It's in the early threes, put it that way.
In the early threes. So 3. So basically around 3 minutes is what they have to beat for Gundrak. But you do have the split strats. I don't think anyone else manages to do it the way that you do. Yeah, well. Let's see what they managed to pull off though. They're not, or are they going a split? I can only see, oh no, the two icons were over each other there. So I managed to miss it. So How did you experiment with a split strat and a non-split strat at the start, or did you always do a split?
It was pretty obvious which strat we wanted to do right from the beginning on this, just based on our group composition, the fact that I've got wings, the fact that our druid goes into aquatic form and swims really fast, just all of those into play. Plus we've got a very, very, very spicy shaman on our team. So yeah, it was fate. Put it that way.
It was fate. It's fate and a Resta shaman. Is the way it goes, I think. Yeah. The most ridiculous amount of damage at this level in the game, I would say. Although it does seem like Holy Priest or Shadow Priest is pushing it slightly. I know Keys is having quite a fantastic time damaging on her Holy, so perhaps triple healer was actually the meta all along.
Yeah, you guys were talking about this because you and Matt. Well, Matt's a simp for healers anyway. So Matt was going on quite a lot about the Holy Nova and how important it is in the last race, but I think maybe it was a little bit overestimated. I'm not sure. I've never played a priest, but it didn't seem like it was that good, right? Compared to Chain Lightning. at least.
Yeah, well, Zippy seems to like it as well, but yeah, I think Chain Lightning has to be where it's at. I don't think these guys know where the vent is, which is going to hold them up slightly, but we'll stick with them until the bitter end here, and see what they can do. As I think they're having slight issues with getting their validation to work. But here we go. Here's the priest pops up in the end. Finally found the vent, and we're going for a slightly more ambitious pull than previous groups in this. Hopefully they do something spectacular and we get to marvel in the beauty of it, and find out as well if these tier sets are actually working, because I will be amazed if they are.
Well, Donix just messaged me as he was waiting for the priest to come up then, and he says he hasn't been keeping an eye on it, but he believes it is working. So we will we'll need to see.
And this is Nax 10?
Nax 25 heroic. Sorry, Nax 25 and Aldar 25. He's got 2 pieces from each of those sets.
Interesting. I don't know what the proc looks like, but
yeah, I've been trying to Google it, but it's been taken over by Wire Classic stuff, so it's not going to be accurate on Google unless we're searching outside of being live on the internet.
Okay. I'll reach out to the Time Walking community and see if they can provide any clarification on that before the event, because that would be quite a powerful thing to realize that Nax and Aldar 25 tier sets are actually working.
Yeah, the ICC ones, the ones where you have to claim tokens, definitely are.
Okay, so definitely no ICC. Interesting.
Yeah, because when you claim the token, it comes back as a level 35 gear, high level 35. So it's too low to be any good. So, yeah.
I see. He's getting really low. He's done the brave strategy of trying to pull everything. Or heals come in, but it's ripped aggro off of him. I think he didn't bubble, so I don't know how he managed to lose that much aggro. It must have been a huge amount of damage.
I think he's good.
He's stabilized now, but the silence on the prop paladin is probably not the best thing to happen to him. He's managing to keep aggro though, even if he is getting chain silence. You can see the buttons getting spammed as he's getting increasingly desperate. The ads go down, and it's going to stabilize here, and manages to finish them all off with just the boss left, and it will be fine from here. Even if it frenzies as it inevitably does, he'll be absolutely okay.
Yeah, that was pretty strong. That shame we can't see the time.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame. I will have to. Oh, they've got the achievement as well as the first ever running Gundrak live on stream. Gundrak, well, congratulations, guys. I will have to do some research then if there's anything other than just the paladin tier sets working. If it does work, for those of you who don't know, they shouldn't work. They turn them all off, other than the most recent content, so that'll be an interesting turn up for the books. But we're going to slowly head off. So closing words, Adam, tell me, how confident are you feeling for the event coming up on Sunday?
Now that I've seen this, I do think that my concerns aren't so much centered around double bacon haggis anymore. Our biggest nemesis is still our biggest nemesis, so I am feeling very confident on one of the dungeons. I'm not going to say which one. Maybe 2 of them, but we need to definitely practice the ones where they are performing well. So that will be bulk of this evening, I expect. Yeah, with regards to the community, everyone's welcome. Come in, say hi, see if you like us. If you don't like us, leave. It's fun. No hard feelings. Discord.gg/Starship EU.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Once again, just to repeat, you're more than welcome to come and join us in our adventure on Discord. Just a reminder that this event, the real one and not the practice, is live Sunday at 8 server time, I believe. 7:30 maybe server time, I can't quite remember. Remind me, Adam, quickly. Which one is it?
I need to open the spreadsheet.
Open the document.
It's all become a blur. Oh no.
Oh my goodness, what's going on?
Someone in chat, tell us. I think it's 6:30 UK time.
6:30 UK time, 7:30 server time EU. We will be live on Twitch on the exact same channel doing this for real prizes, with real monetary values and real pride on the line.
Definitely pride on the line. Also, I also have to mention that we are a featured Radio.io community this week. So we're a Spotlight that put out a really nice article, which includes an interview with both Coop and myself, which if you want to check it out, it's on the front page of Radio.io. Also, our featured week continues. So tomorrow night, we're doing a lore special about the dungeons that we're going to be running with the wonderful Talvi and a special guest. And then we've got the main event on Sunday. And then on Monday and Tuesday, we have a very awesome streamer from our community called Bears Adventures. They're going to be front page Radio.io. Please do join Bear. She's a wonderful person and a very good streamer. So,
okay. And with that, thank you for joining us. And see you later.
Bye.
The Starship World of Warcraft community is proudly supported by Blizzard Entertainment, Raider.io, Zygor Guides, Gamer Advantage, Glitch Energy, Streamlabs, and is proud to support our partnered charity, Safe in Our World.
face with your blood! Say hello to my big friend!
Power level your characters, make lots of gold, and accomplish more in World of Warcraft with Zygor Guides. Our guides are unique in that they use a custom guide viewer add-on to display things right inside the game. Every guide is presented in an easy-to-follow, step-by-step format that tells you exactly where to go, who to talk to, which quests to accept, how to complete quest objectives, and more, all in the most efficient manner to get more done in less time. Since the guides are in-game, they can dynamically detect your progress, update in real time, and automatically skip forward as you complete steps. Finding your way around couldn't be easier thanks to our custom waypoint arrow that works like an in-game GPS, generating the fastest directions to your next location, factoring in every method of travel including flight paths, items, portals, and more. You'll no longer find yourself wondering where to go or what to do next ever again. The guides also include numerous additional features to speed things up even more, like auto-accepting and turning in quests, highlighting the best quest rewards, notifying you when you have new gear upgrades, pointing where you need to fly to on your map, auto-selling gray items, and more. We offer guides for virtually every aspect of the game, including leveling, dungeons, dailies, professions, collectibles, and achievements. Discover all the latest content with our new Featured section, which showcases all the new guides added in every patch and expansion with detailed explanations on how it all works. Or search our entire collection to find a guide for almost anything you want to do. All of our guides have been fully updated for Dragonflight, and new content is being added all the time. Sign up for Zygor Elite and gain instant access to our full suite of guides for both retail and classic WoW for one low monthly fee. As part of Zygor Elite, you'll receive ongoing weekly updates for new patches, future expansions, and seasonal events, as well as general fixes and improvements to make sure all content stays current and well optimized for any changes Blizzard makes. Take your gaming to the next level with Zygor Guides.
Who took the bomb?
See you later.